Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. Good morning. I'm the U.S. Attorney Jaime Esparza here with FBI Special Agent Aaron Tapp here on my left and DEA Assistant Special Agent in Charge Ben Post. I appreciate you all taking time this morning to come out. Also behind me is Deputy Chief John Allen from the U.S. Marshal Service, Sergeant Kenny Mata and Dion Cockrell from the Texas Department of Public Safety, and from the San Antonio Police Department, Chief Hector Salas. Bexar County Sheriff's Department wasn't able to attend, but they also participated in these arrests. Along with me also is Assistant United States Attorney Brian Nowinski and Fidel Esparza III, right here to my right. Today we are announcing the indictment of 24 alleged gang members and associates of Hermanos de Pistoleros Latinos, or Brotherhood of the Latin Gunmen in San Antonio. On Tuesday, our law enforcement partners at the FBI, DEA, the U.S. Marshal Service, DPS, the Bexar County Sheriff's Department, and the San Antonio PD arrested 19 of 24 defendants associated with Hermanos de Pistoleros Latinos. 5 defendants have been in custody prior to the operation earlier this week, including Antonio Rios Jr., who was placed in federal custody last September, charged with felon in possession of a firearm. The other 4 already in custody are Vidal Morales Jr., who is in federal custody, Roland Mendoza, Carlos Bernal, and Adrian Calvillo, who are also in state custody. These 24 individuals are suspected of being members and associates of Mexican prison gang known as Hermanos de Pistoleros Latinos, a criminal organization known to be heavily involved in trafficking drugs and firearms. The defendants who were already in custody were alleged to have been and continued this conspiracy while in custody. The indictment, unsealed by the court this morning, carries a total of 24 counts, including conspiracy to possess and distribute methamphetamine, heroin, and cocaine, conspiracy to possess firearms in furtherance of drug trafficking, conspiracy to traffic firearms, and other related charges. While these 24 defendants are indicted for assortment of charges, many of them face maximum of 5 years up to the maximum sentence of life in prison. Some face 10 years to life. Others face 15 to 20 years. Further details of the case are outlined in the speaking indictment that is available and that I see on the chairs here in front of me. I want to thank our federal, state, and law enforcement partners, led by the FBI and DEA in this case, for their ongoing commitment to investigating these issues that are important to our communities, and for the continued commitment of reducing violence and firearm and drug crimes that plague our communities. Their professionalism, determination, and expertise help protect the safety of our citizens and allow our federal prosecutors to keep violent criminals out of our communities for years. I'd also like to thank the work of our Assistant United States Attorneys, Brian Nowinski and Fidel Esparza III. This is a large case with 24 defendants involving the collaboration of multiple agencies. The work of these Assistant United States Attorneys, the work that they do, the time that they dedicate to ensuring cases like these are prosecuted properly, serving justice for the interest of the United States and our citizens, certainly deserves to be recognized. And I thank both Brian and Fidel for their work. I'll let the investigating agencies speak about their roles. I'll start with Special Agent in Charge Aaron Tapp from the FBI San Antonio Division, followed by DEA Assistant Special Agent in Charge Ben Post. Thank you.
Thank you, United States Attorney Esparza. I frequently say that in the FBI we accomplish nothing alone, and so I want to begin today by recognizing and thanking all of our partners in this case to include, of course, the United States Attorney's Office, the DEA, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Texas DPS, Customs and Border Protection, IRS Criminal Investigations, the San Antonio Police Department, Bexar County Sheriff's Office and DA's Office, the Bernie Police Department, New Braunfels Police Department, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, OIG, and the Texas National Guard. The FBI is dedicated to strengthening the partnerships you see here and our partners across all of our local communities, because no threat is more pernicious and no threat depends more on these partnerships than the threat of violent crime in our communities. Violent crime remains far too high, and it's impacting far too many communities. And as part of the FBI's goal to reduce violent crime in this community, our agents, our task force officers, and our partner agencies have worked long days, long nights, weekends, and holidays on this case. And as they are on every case, they've been dogged and persistent, and I'm really proud of them. These folks work extremely hard every day, and they've done it their entire careers because they're committed to this community, to the state of Texas, and to the Constitution of the United States. They embody the traits of fidelity, bravery, and integrity. We are a safer community today because there are fewer firearms in the hands of bad actors, fewer kilos of meth, of heroin and cocaine for sale in our community, and one less trafficking organization doing business in South Texas. In the FBI, as we work every day to confront the problem of violent crime, our goal is not just to put a couple of violent actors in handcuffs for a few hours or for a few days or a few months. Our objective is to build cases that deeply cut into the capabilities of sophisticated criminal enterprises, to take away the tools of their trade, to ultimately dismantle these sophisticated criminal enterprises, and to put the worst of the worst behind bars for a very, very long time. The law enforcement profession is difficult and dangerous, and the men and women who protect and serve this community and our country deserve our gratitude and support. The FBI remains committed to working with our partners in whatever way we can to reduce violent crime in our communities throughout the state of Texas and across the country. And with that, I'd like to introduce DEA Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Ben Post.
Good morning. My name is Ben Post. I'm the DEA Assistant Special Agent in Charge of the San Antonio office. The work done by DEA in this investigation alongside our partners led to the arrest of Daniel Natividad, a senior member of HPL, Hermanos de Pistoleros Latinos. Within the gang, he's also known as the leader of the free world because he is the highest ranking member of HPL outside prison. Besides Mr. Natividad, a number of other significant drug distributors in the organization were arrested. These arrests and indictments will put a dent in HPL and their drug trafficking activities, which are the main source of income for the gang. Members rely on this money made by drug trafficking to not only fund their organization outside prison, but to supply money to members inside prison, which furthers acts of violence. HPL poses a serious threat to our community through drug trafficking and violence. I like to think that drug trafficking and violence are two sides of the same coin. They go together. Our investigation revealed that illegal drugs are smuggled into San Antonio from Mexico, then stored in stash houses of HPL members and businesses. Then it is trafficked throughout Central and South Texas. For the past 2 years, HPL has trafficked approximately 300 kilograms of illegal drugs to include methamphetamine, heroin, and cocaine. I want to stress that this was a truly cooperative investigation with all of our partners of an organization that poses a serious threat to our communities, particularly here in San Antonio. DEA is committed to continuing our work of targeting any organization that threatens our communities through the distribution of illegal drugs. At this point, I'll open up to questions for myself or any of my colleagues up here. This investigation started approximately last summer, May, September of 2023. And there's further ongoing parts of it that will continue, which obviously we won't go into.
Can you paint a picture for our viewers that are watching this today, the true impact of the violence that these individuals were inflicting on our streets and how that's going to change down here behind bars?
So you got to understand, with any type of organized, structured gang like this, there are two aspects of it. There's a part of the violence that occurs within the prison system, including the introduction of illegal drugs into the prison system and the violence that institutes for the prison guards and other members. Outside the prison, these organizations are very concerned about protecting their product, protecting their ability to distribute the product, and so they're always usually going heavily armed. They're procuring firearms illegally in most cases, and it's a vicious cycle where the funds from the drugs go to purchase more firearms, which results in more violence. I'll have to apologize. I'm fairly new to San Antonio at the beginning of the year, but I would say, yeah, this is a significant impact on this organization. Targeting these individuals that are outside the prison in particular, because they're the funding mechanism that includes funding to inside the prison.
San Antonio has historically been some of the locals as well. The Mexican mafia territory. What happened? Is HPL moving into San Antonio?
I think I'll let the FBI speak to that.
Yeah, Guillermo. So you know, there's been a history of Mexican mafia. I wouldn't say that this takedown indicates more or less activity with any other gang. This simply represents one prong of our multi-prong effort to curb violence in San Antonio. I think again the goal is to disrupt not individuals and put folks in jail for a couple of weeks, but to really dismantle the enterprise and the organization in a way that it has a long-term impact on the violent crime problem here in San Antonio.
Major gangs know that they operate in San Antonio, or at least
I don't know that we have a ranking. There's a number of gangs operating in San Antonio, and they kind of range from very, very well organized to collaborating with one another for business purposes to very loosely organized neighborhood gangs. So there's a wide array. We see it across the spectrum here.
And because this is originated as a prison gang, and these free-will gang members are now behind bars, how exactly will that change? Because I'm assuming they're still calling shots when you've taken out the leaders on the streets and putting up with the other leaders.
Not sure I understand the question.
Well, you've taken these guys off the streets, and now they're in prison with the other leaders of the gang.
Right.
So, one might think they're just going to find somebody else to take that job. So, what's really the impact of cutting them down right now?
So, we'd much rather have them in prison, you kind of have an assumption that someone else will take their place. I don't know that that's true. The point of this takedown and of this press conference is to send the message that we will come and get you and put handcuffs on you, and you can join them in jail, but it's not going to happen on our streets.
I think I'd also add to that, you got to understand, so these are federal charges. HPL operates in both state and federal prison systems.
Ben, you want to stand to the mic?
Oh, sorry. The organization operates in both state and federal prisons, but with these charges in the federal system, that also gives us some options for where they're going to be housed post-conviction. The other thing to keep in mind is, like I mentioned, the money made by narcotics trafficking outside prison is essential to this prison gang functioning inside prison. So anytime we take anybody off the street outside prison, it's gonna dampen their ability.
You mentioned Vidata gang. So is he a llavero? Can you tell us more about where he is, where he's from, how old he is, what his rank is? You mentioned some kind of leader.
Again, so understanding the structure, just loosely, there are prison gang leaders within custody. Those are the llaveros. And then there is a prison gang leader outside the prison. Mr. Navidad's position, as we understand it, is, as I said, quote, the leader of the free world. That is the highest ranking member outside prison currently.
San Antonio, or where's he
I believe he's down in Laredo area. I don't want to get into too many specifics, but I think it's safe to say it's a very structured, organized drug and criminal prison gang. So for instance, they have dues that are paid. That's part of that funding mechanism for them. So it is structured enough that we can understand their hierarchy as we target them on criminal prosecution. Any other questions?
Well, once again, I want to thank you for coming to the press conference. This is an important issue. We are constantly trying to work on behalf of all the federal, state, and local partners you see behind me to address not just violent crime, but firearms and the drug problem that we have in our communities. There are many, as questioned, there are many defendants here. This is a sign of a very organized and very successful effort to dismantle this particular gang. I think it's a good blow to HPL. I think it makes our streets safer. And as Special Agent Tapp said, we hope to send the message that if you continue to try to do business in this community in that way, that we are watching and that we will address the problem. And we have room in federal prison for you if that's where you want to do your business. Thank you.